my friend is getting married, and it made me start thinking that I don't really want to get married. So when my friend told me that she was getting married, it actually took me by surprise because they don't really take me as the I would get married the second someone asked me kind of person. Now, they could be that kind of person, but their partner might be the opposite, which made me start thinking, I don't want to get married, but my partner might be the opposite. And I'm saying this because for the longest time, my entire life, I could never quite understand the purpose of getting married or what benefits you would actually get from marrying someone. Till, like, I'm talking, like, extra recently. I'm almost, like, last year or the year before that recently. And by the way, I'm 25, just to let you know. That anyone getting married is usually a financial benefit from it. That's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure it's much deeper than that, but because I don't plan to get married, nor do I want to, I don't really care. Now, even if I say I don't necessarily want to get married, that doesn't stop me from becoming a wife to somebody else. As some people might know, I'm pretty sure there's a name for it, I'll put it in there if I'm looking it up right here, right now. Becoming a spouse with your partner, legally, because you live with them for X amount of years. Some places say 5, some places say 7, whatever, usually it's about 5. If you live with them for about 7 years, let's say 7, the government they'll just see them as a married couple. Now, in that case, I don't mind that. However, I just don't have the mental capacity to set up an entire huge wedding. I like listening to Reddit stories, and it absolutely baffles me the amount of family members who feel entitled to changing a wedding to their liking when it has nothing to do with them. And I always think to myself, if I've ever had that happen to me, best believe they'd be cut out of the wedding so freaking quick. I don't care if they're paying for it. I'll cut down the wedding if I have to. I don't want anyone feeling entitled to controlling my wedding. And I guess that's also part of the struggles I'm dealing with. I'll be honest, I don't even know who I would even invite in my family alone, to the wedding. I know a handful of people, but like inviting the entire family, I just don't see that happening. Whether or not people are going to actually watch this, whether or not my family is actually going to watch this YouTube channel is the high might of the highest power, but in the off chance that they don't, I don't really feel connected in a personal way to a large part of my family, so inviting them would seem rather odd to me. On top of that, I feel like they're so enamored with the idea of visuals and what's the word? Not appearance, dang. I want to say appearance. Basically, they just want to look good. They want things to look good. And they will try to make themselves look better than they actually are. Image, that's what it is. They care so much about image. And I don't. So let's say if I do a wedding, I just don't want half of my family to feel entitled to changing and fixing and whatevering my wedding. And I'm just not up for that. I don't want people to feel like they have to envision what they want in a wedding when it's not theirs. I already have a creative mind as it is, and if I were to do a wedding, it certainly wouldn't be a traditional walking down the aisle wearing a big fluffy white dress kind of wedding. I see people doing all kinds of stuff, like a convention, or like a themed wedding where everybody's dressed as ogres and elks and stuff. So if I actually found a partner who was into that, it'd definitely be that cool. It would be awesome to have a wedding where everybody dressed up as something. Absolutely love cosplaying, even though I don't do it. But if I wanted to have a big, pretty wedding dress, I definitely would want, like, the Cinderella, huge, the poofiest dress. But that's if I actually want to do a traditional wedding, which most likely isn't going to happen. But basically, I don't really want my family to impose on everything that's going on in the wedding, because all they care about is image, and that's not the kind of person I want to portray myself as to anybody or myself. Secondly, I am still very new to this whole LGBT stuff, so I know a good portion of my family is not into that, so they wouldn't even be interested in the partner I may or may not be marrying in the first place, just so everybody knows. And lastly, it's just the stress of setting it up. There's so much that goes into setting up a wedding, and I just can't imagine putting all that effort into it. Every now and again, I'll talk to my friend about the wedding that she is setting up with her boyfriend, or should I say fiance. And she would tell me that she had no idea how much actually went into this. I have no idea how big their wedding is going to be in the first place. I don't know if they're going to actually rent out a, I thought about this word yesterday, but a place to do the wedding. I have no idea how many people in the family are going to be coming. I don't know how many decorations, how much food, how much this and that and the other. I have no idea, but they are definitely a little stressed out because on top of that, money. If anyone hasn't noticed, weddings are quite expensive, even if you try to do it the cheapest way possible. If I were to do a wedding, I feel like the most expensive thing I would own is the dress, but most likely I'd make that myself, but I don't really know how to make stuff like that, so most likely, I don't know, it seems like a hit or miss with that. But weddings are expensive, and they never came off as the rich, posh type. Not saying that they're like poor or anything, they're just middle class like everybody else in the United States. But they're not necessarily the most richest, so weddings aren't necessarily the easiest to pay for, which is reasonable. Basically, they're just telling me a lot of the stuff that they are unaware of how difficult it is to take care of as far as wedding goes. And as they're going through it, they're just learning more and more about it. And I'm like, they are freaking more powerful than I am, because I'll wait till this ambulance passes. Because I would not be able to do all that. The fact is just, you can't just say, oh, you just get a little place and some cake and some food and then invite a bunch of people. No, unfortunately, you have to do way more than that. And if by any chance you're lucky enough to have a family member with money, which in my case that's never gonna happen, they might pay for half of it. But in my case, that's never gonna happen. If I were to do a wedding, I would want the most simplest of weddings. In fact, I just want to do the celebration part, the party, the after party, or whatever you call that. I want to say ceremony, but I think the ceremony is the actual wedding. But whatever the after party is, where everybody's eating food and hitting the little glasses so that way the partners can kiss. I want that. That's all I want, and to be in a big pretty dress. That's it. I don't want to do the whole official wedding part, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to do the actual wedding part. I'm not sure why I don't. I guess I never really cared to do all the wedding-y stuff. I just would rather just accidentally become accidentally become married because the government said so. That's pretty much the easiest for me. But I give props to my friend for doing all this wedding stuff. I don't even know the half of what goes into actually planning a wedding, but if it's anything like Reddit makes it out to be, I certainly don't want any part of it, especially with the family I have. But that's basically it. I don't know what else to say on the matter. I don't see myself getting married anytime soon. I don't see myself putting all that effort into it. If I do make a wedding, it'd most likely be like a little... Really? The last person I expected to say anything right now. If I were to do a wedding, it'd be like the cute little backyard wedding. And I can only think of 3 people that I can... Not 3 people, I'm sorry. 3 father figures. Yes, I have 3. In my life that... Well, technically they're the only 3, should I say. I can't pick one. I can't pick just one to walk me down the aisle. So I would have them pass me on to the next guy. It's just the order I would have them in is a little bit more tricky. But that's a little more personal. So I would just have a simple little backyard wedding. The after party is the most important part for me. And then the honeymoon, whichever that might be. If I ever do a honeymoon, I would be going to either a tropical resort because that's basic and whatever, but it's not like I've ever been to the West Coast, so it'd be something special for me. Or Disneyland or World, I don't really care which one, they both are the same to me. Fight me, I don't care, they're both the same. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of that. Weddings and stuff and things. Yo, what's up everybody, this is Leanne. Sorry for not being able to post as much as I used to. I am really running out of stories here, so I might not post as much as I usually do, and I apologize ahead of time. So these stories are going to be spread out, and as you notice, this one's a lot shorter than usual. It's just going to be a hit or miss. But if you do still like this content, be sure to check out my playlist. There's tons of stories and or topics I talk about. And if not, you can go ahead and check out the other playlists where I either have a podcast or just talking about random stuff with my friends. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you like this stuff, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. And check you guys out later.